Good morning. It is Thursday, 9 a.m. in the Pacific time zone. Hope you all are well today. Let's see, where do I have this today?
DougBetts said, I'm working here.
There we go. And that confirmed, except that I wasn't looking right. Did that confirm that SpeakerBot is working?
That's a big 10-4.
Yes, there it is. All right, we're good.
Yes,
we're
sir.
good. We're
E-bot.
good. Man, I had so many things that I had to adjust today. I did, I think, 3 test live streams this morning because, yeah, sometimes I just got to go fix stuff. That's the way it is. Was it 2 or 3? Today is the 20th. Okay, yeah, just 2. All right.
Read chat, please.
That's a big 10-4.
And this is a little different today because since the trailer showed my desk setup, I decided, well, I might as well do a standing desk today. But it's been a while since I've done it, so the microphone adjustment was a little bit different. Yes, Tim, your email is lined up for today. We'll go pop out chat and go see what that read chat message was. I heard a read chat message, didn't I? Oh, there it is. DougBot is somewhat loud. Oh, okay. Let's see, why would that be? There was something that was kind of weird with that. Let me test that. I'm going to do an exclamation mark, see myself, and watch the audio indicator. Hello. Yeah, I think it failed. So yesterday I did some work on the problem with SpeakerBot and I thought I had it solved. I had found that all of the recent voices that had failed for read chat please were still failing.
No way.
And so I eliminated them. I took them out and I manually added in voices, these voices over here that I had specifically tested. And they all tested great yesterday in yesterday's trials. But this one, Bill Turbo
Read
V2,
chat, please.
failed this morning. So I took it out of this listing, and now we just had another one fail. So it's not specific voices. Specific voices that worked yesterday in my trial runs where I was doing exclamation mark C in the legitimate chat window. They all worked. This morning it did not. Let's do this. I'm going to do this. Let's see. Well, there was a read chat. What was that last read chat? The AI has taken over, run. Has taken over, run. You need a comma there. AI has taken over, run. Yeah, so watch this. I'll just go eliminate a whole bunch of voices. Oh heck, let's delete all of them and then add one back. Not Bill Turbo V2 because I know that one fails. Brian. How about we take Brian and add that. So now everything that calls 11 Labs random should only give the Brian voice. And that is, I think, everything. So if I go over here to actions, yeah, 11 Labs random for yeses. And read chat, please, is 11 Labs random. So all of those should give us just the one voice. Let's see how that does.
Read chat, please.
Yeah, so that voice that you just heard from Zvi Manor should be consistent. It'll have different inflections. So it won't be quite identical with every read chat, please. I'll go ahead and do another one.
Read chat, please.
Yeah, see a little different inflections. Lawn Dog complimenting Rick Lake's session from yesterday.
Read
Okay,
chat, please.
that was a testing. Yeah, see, it's the same voice, but different inflections. Now, let me go to things that I have lined up. Well, since Tim Cruz has already asked for his, I'll go ahead and get his and then go to the others that I have lined up. And I'm going to arrange this to conceal his email address, regardless of whether you care about that, Tim. That just is my habit these days. Dear Doug, just a FYI, Spectrum Tech just upgraded me to Wi-Fi 7 router and a modem. Brand new. I get way over a gig on service for download and upload is around 38 to 40 upload, but I feel we might need to change some settings in OBS, but I'm not familiar with OBS. I would love for you to take a look at my settings of OBS and set it to the way you have it or whatever preferred for my gaming Dell laptop. Thank you in advance, Doug, for all your help and support. Sincerely, Tim Cruz, aka Official Tim Team. I hope we get it fixed on today's show. Tim, we don't need to connect remotely to do that. I'm going to show you a little video that I prepared for you this morning for what you can do for that. And I'm going to show the pictures that you sent, so for your bragging rights. Here he's showing over a gigabit download, 1151.13 megabits per second download and upload 39.41 on that particular speed test. And then his other picture is just showing about his computer. Microsoft Windows 11 Home, 13th Gen, i9 13900, and custom build apparently. Let's see, i13900. I think that's higher processor than mine. Here's my processor, i9 9980. Yeah, we know I can't read and speak at the same time. So here's a little video that I prepared for that this morning, Tim. Go find it here. I called it How to Adjust OBS After Internet Upgrade. I can't do this live, and I'll show you why. If I come over here to my OBS screen right here and come up to Tools, Auto Configuration Wizard is all you need to run. And I can't do that while the show is running. I can't do that while there's a virtual camera or a replay buffer or an actual stream running. So over here on my monitor number 1, I'll call it, this is a video I'm scrubbing forward. And I used the Windows 11 screen recorder to do this. So coming back a little bit. Okay, so here on the Tools menu, choose Auto Configuration Wizard. Now I'm pressing the play button so we can watch what happens. You can choose one of these 3 based upon what you're going to be doing with OBS and then click Next. And then you can choose your base canvas resolution, your frames per second. I changed this to 30 because I never want 60 frames per second. There's just no need for the content that I'm doing. We don't need that many frames per second. Then I click Next. So sticking at 30 reduces the workload for my computer. And then you can make choices here. Prefer hardware encoding. I've had sometimes if you're having crashes with OBS that you might turn that off. Remove that check mark. So then you apply settings and it is doing its test. Tim, as far as I am aware, that's really all you need to do after upgrading your internet. And when it finishes here, it's going to select a bit rate for me. And I think that takes a little while. So I'm going to drag the playhead forward. There it is. So here, and then I'll pause here. And it's showing we're using a bit rate now of 10,000 for my computer. And my canvas is 1080p, otherwise known as 1920 by 1080 and 30 frames per second. And that's really, I think, all you need to do, Tim. All right, I think that's all there is in that video. Then I'll move on to my next topic, which is from, notes that I made from yesterday's chat. after the show was over yesterday, I went back and looked at chat. Now, something that happens commonly is we'll be discussing some topics during the show, and then when I go back and look at chat, I'll realize, oh, I said that wrong, or I was misunderstanding something. So that there was some of that yesterday. And I see Tim Cruz saying he will try that. Okay, so here's my notes from yesterday. Bernard C. I saw your comment before the show started. Are you still here? He said in chat, hi, Doug, and all in chat, is partitioning the HD still recommended? That would be a perfect time to start with an exclamation mark C and then your question. Anytime somebody's asking a question in chat, I'd like for you to use that exclamation mark C. If you see somebody else ask a question that you think I might want to address, then you could do an exclamation mark C and guide me to that person. Put in that person's name or something, and I'll go catch their question that way. Is partitioning the hard drive still recommended on an SSD? You're probably referring back to, there have been times in the past when we said partition your drive so that your C drive is your operating system and your D drive would be your data drive. I think that's like back to Windows 95 days. My response to that these days is it depends. Depends upon why you would want to partition. If you don't have a reason to partition your drive, then don't. I do. My primary drive in this computer is an 8 terabyte drive. I have it partitioned in a few partitions that serve different purposes. And my main reason, and I actually do partition a lot of my clients' computers. I'll take their drive and split it in two. Let me get to that reason in a moment because it's different. Well, okay, yeah, it's different. For me, I want my C drive image to be a separate backup from all of my data. I have a massive amount of data. I have all of my recorded videos are part of what I consider my data. I don't want that on my C drive because that means not only are my backups going to take a long time, but more importantly, my restores are going to take a long time. If I have some kind of problem that occurs with my Windows operating system, maybe because of an update or some other reason, and I want to restore it, it's much easier and quicker to restore it if my C drive doesn't contain all that massive hundreds of gigabytes of video files that never change.
Read
Once
chat,
they're
please.
recorded, they just sit there. Ran Israel says, I still do C and D drives for the exact same reason. Now, on my clients' computers, the reason why I'll take their, even a 512 gigabyte drive, they rarely are over 70 or 80 gigabytes for their C drive. All their data is stored on the server. I'll split that in half, and the second drive I'll use for backups. And I'll have those computers doing nightly image backups. Now, they're not backing up data. So the fact that we don't have an offsite or we're not rotating out doesn't matter on the end user's workstations. But by having an image backup of their Windows operating system, what that allows me to do is, let's suppose, and I've had this happen, where an update comes along and it messes up, typically a vertical market software is what it will mess up. And I have a few computers in that office now that are messed up. Well, it's pretty quick and easy for me to connect remotely to their computers and perform a restore from the second partition on their internal hard drive. Now, that's not something that I would recommend for a average home user or a computer enthusiast. It depends upon your reason. If you have a reason for doing partitioning, then yeah, go for it. And I'd be happy to discuss that with you. Ran Israel is saying C drive is everything that should be imaged, D drive is everything that shouldn't be. Yeah. So all my videos, I do not back up that partition because those
Read
videos
chat,
are
please.
also already on YouTube. YouTube is my backup for those videos that are also locally stored. The videos that are locally stored are my backup for YouTube. Zvi Minor says, ditto, move all personal user data to D. Now, one caveat there is if you move your documents, your Windows Documents folder to a separate partition, in the past, that has caused a problem with the Windows update that came along, and Microsoft did not provide for the possibility that some people might have their profile data stored on another drive. So I avoid doing that these days. Then Greg M. We had some conversation with Greg M yesterday, and there was a major flaw in my recollection as we were discussing this. Greg M was, I didn't capture all of his comments here, but computer boots fine without USB drive plugged in. The same system has image issues, apparently with C partition failing verification in Macrim Reflect X. I was incorrectly thinking that there was a GPT error when that, in association with that partition. After the show is over, I remembered, oh yeah, I remember now, and I don't think that C drive is got a major problem, because what was
Red
happening
chat, please.
is when he did a backup with Macrim Reflect X and asked it to verify at the end of the backup, that's what would fail. But afterwards, he could go back and verify, and the
Read chat, please.
verification would work. So that tells me I don't think there's anything wrong with that C drive. I'm taking a look here at the he tells us his well, let me bring that up on screen. Client is dropping off the computer with the image verification and USB hard drive GPT header corruption problems. Going to see if I can back up his C drive properly. Now, I thought you were able to back up his C drive, but you were getting that verification error at the end. And I think that is something that is highly likely to get fixed by Macrim Reflect as they do updates to the software. That is why software updates happen. This is a very typical kind of problem where something doesn't work right under certain circumstances, and eventually the software manufacturer will figure it out. If you can do a verification manually after the fact, then I don't think there's any concern about the C drive. Now, you're going to be able to work on the problem with having that external USB drive connected to the computer when you reboot the computer and try to troubleshoot that problem. Not with moving, there was a problem with sysprep by moving the user's folder to D drive. Oh, is that what it was? That's back when there was some kind of a problem. Not with moving the user profile folders, there was a problem with sysprep by moving the user's folder to D. Yeah, I thought it was something other than sysprep. Maybe that was a problem, but wasn't there something else as well? I don't really not worried about getting that resolved right now. Yes, verification error with Mr. Sick, Macrim Reflect X, and a Cronus True Image. Oh, Cronus True Image also had the verification error. I had forgotten that, which that kind of makes me think maybe it's more about a hard drive firmware update. See if you can find a firmware update for that drive. I think the image is being deleted due to verification error under Macrim Reflect. The image file is being deleted. Well, that doesn't make sense because you said you could do the verification afterwards. NVMe firmware is current. Wait a minute, I thought you're using an NVMe drive as an external drive through USB? Verifications afterwards was different issue. Okay, Greg, I'm going to trust you that you understand what your issue is. Oh, NVMe is the C drive. Okay, yeah, we're jumping around between the external and the C drive. It's hard. Yeah, I'm talking about the firmware for the external drive. Well, now wait a minute. The firmware for the external drive in regards to why you're getting a GPT error when you have it connected during the boot up. The only concern about the NVMe drive would be that verification error. And you said that was on both softwares. I guess I'm actually saying firmware was a potential for either of them. Okay, let me move along back to other topics, because I have more from yesterday. I actually still kind of, Oh, I made the comment here. I forgot about the symptom where verification works after the image is complete. That may get fixed by Macrium update in the future. However, now I understand that it's also with Acronis. Here's curious. This is just curiosity, Greg. Does Macrium Reflect 8 succeed with verification using the same computer? And you can install a free version of Macrium Reflect 8 to test that if you're interested in troubleshooting that. It could be a useful piece of information, not certain. That would tend to indicate a future update may fix the issue. Western Digital 8 terabyte elements, desktop hard drive, USB 3.0. You get a GPT error if it's connected when booting with Windows 11 24H2. How about if you're booting on a Windows 11 23H2 or a Windows 10? Do you get a GPT error? That might be useful troubleshooting. And Gary had a message yesterday in chat that I didn't catch during showtime on a Western Digital USB drive. At one time, Western Digital tried to download drivers from Windows Update, and that might be causing problems. I'm just acknowledging that I've seen that comment. I don't know any background on it. And then Bernard C. had a comment right at the end of showtime, 9:48. Says, I thought people were asking if anyone was still running optical drives. I do need to find a program that reads and where I can convert to digital. Bernard C., I'm not quite understanding the question in there. Can convert to digital implies that you're wanting to take like analog audio CDs and convert them to digital. I think there are people in the community that know how to do that. I do have clients using DVDs and CDs that they get from doctors' offices and hospitals regarding injured people. And typically what we do now with the new computers that we're installing is using external DVD drives rather than internal. Now, that is everything that I had lined up there. I'll go to, it's weird, I'm actually having to look around the microphone. Go grab this and then come over to a channel comment that I'm a little bit delinquent on getting to.